Okay, so I'm going to do a galvanic corrosion test comparing LC200N to Vanax. And for those of you who haven't seen my other videos, the way this works is I'm going to use 700 milliliters of water. I'm going to mix it with 30 milliliters of salt. And then I'm going to put LC200N and Vanax together. And both of these have been prepped. So what I mean by that is I've sanded down both sides with 400 grit sandpaper. I've belt sanded the sides with 80 grit, and with both of these things, I cleaned them afterwards with alcohol, make sure there isn't any like residue or gunk or whatever. And then I also used brand new sandpaper for both, different pieces for both, brand new, and then brand new belts for both also, just to make sure that there's no transfer of any other steel. So let's just get started now. I'm gonna put both of these together just with a rubber band before I put them into the salt solution. And the reason for that is just to make sure that they're touching. And then the rubber bands too, I also cleaned the rubber bands with alcohol. Forget this last loop. So what happens with this, the way galvanic corrosion works, is when they're in salt water, the one that is less corrosion resistant will begin corroding because of their contact. So one of them becomes, I think it's called an anode, and then that happens. So I want to see which one is less corrosion resistant. So once again, the thin one is Vanax, and then the thick one is LC200N. So we'll have this, and then just as a control, this is LC200N. This will be by itself in the solution, and then also as a control, this is Vanax. We'll have that as a control as well, just to make sure that they're not supposed to corrode by themselves. So I'm gonna give it a week and see what happens. But in a week, I've tested it before. LC200N and Vanax will not corrode by itself. And then last, this is just kind of like a test to crush my dreams. I wanted to make, and this was in the beginning, I make knives for myself. And I wanted to make a knife that was basically corrosion proof, like completely corrosion proof. And I thought I did that with Vanax and using nothing but inert materials, which I use G10. So something that doesn't have it isn't electrical, it isn't so it's just completely inert too. They use G10 for circuit boards. I don't know if they still do, but they used to or whatever. So I thought I had made the perfect like corrosion proof knife, but just to show myself, and then I guess everybody else, that that's impossible. I'm going to test this one too. This will run longer, I'm guessing, and eventually this should corrode too, just with this rubber band, but we'll see what happens. This is H2, and I found from just a small amount of tests I've done, H2 seems to be as corrosion resistant as H1, which this is replacing. If you didn't know, H2 is replacing H1 just for in Spyderco's lineup. So okay, let's get this started. Okay, I'm gonna mix it with a piece of Kydex. I just wanted something that also won't do, cause anything with the mixture. And I lost my I used to use this little G10 rod, and I didn't lose it. I ended up using like half of it, and then the other piece is gone. I don't know where that is. Okay, so then now I'm gonna pour this into these just a little bit, just so that they're just covered in water, but they're not gonna lose that much. Not that much is gonna evaporate, and it's in a week. I'm giving this as a week. I should have a reaction in about a week. And add a little bit more to this guy. Okay. Let me add a little more. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna just leave these here and I'll come back to this in a week. And just to show you, it is currently the 20th. All right.